ラブパワー爆発。
What is going up, guys? It is your boy Grave, and today we are going to be talking about Kamen Rider Revice Episode 4. Now, before I get into today's video, I want to mention that I do stream very often on my Twitch channel. In fact, today at 5 PM Pacific, I will be streaming Tales of Arise, so if you're down, come by and join. Have yourself a good time. Now, with that out of the way, let's get into today's episode. Now, the episode starts off in the bathhouse with Daiji once again asking Ikki to sign the contract with Phoenix. This is like the 4th or 5th time he's been doing this. Ikki assures him that he shouldn't worry, and when Deadman's coming, he'll show up. Frustrated about this, Daiji mentions that if he transformed sooner, then his sister Sakura wouldn't have been kidnapped. I think that's kind of a low blow. Like, he was there, like, protecting her. Ikki questions if that was true, and then comments that he's barely even keeping the bathhouse together with his mom in the hospital. Practically fed up, Daiji pushes the Revice driver into Ikki, saying that he can be on his own, but he has to find the dead man's on his own, and that he'll no longer be his errand boy. Then he leaves to find the gorilla stamp, commenting that he doesn't find saving people a side gig, it's his real job. Now, Daiji is feeling like very insecure about the whole situation with him basically losing Revice to Ikki, with people basically relying on him, and I think Daiji probably feels that he's just being pushed away into the shadows. In a sense, you can feel like this is like a parallel between Ayaka and her sister from the last episode. Speaking of Ayaka, Sakura walks to school passing by her house with her mom and her sister Miharu leaving. Sakura asks where Ayaka is, and Ayaka's mom basically tells her, "I thought she was with you, I thought she was staying the night," which confuses Sakura. Over at the dead man's hideout, Aguilera comments that she's sorry to Gifu that he's trapped inside of a statue, that it must be real stuffy in here. Before asking Julio and Olteco where her sacrifices are, and comments that she needs 6 of them. We find out that Julio and Olteca are Gift Tech sacrifices, which are humans who have formed an advanced contract with their demons and basically fused, and says that only then is when they're suitable to be a sacrifice for Gifu. The girl in the robe from the last episode is present in the room, and Aguilera wonders if she can be a sacrifice, and mentions that after they fuse, there's no turning back, basically. Ayaka calls Sakura and apologizes for basically using her in a lie, and that she doesn't want to see her mom, but then comments that she might go to her sister Miharu's live concert. And then it's revealed that she's actually in the dead man's hideout. She's the girl in the robe. Like, wow. Big shock. I couldn't see that coming. Like, it was very obvious from the end of episode 3 with the whole shoe shot. We then see Daiji enter George's gym or office. It looks like a gym to me, but there's like this whole big collection of Kamen Rider merchandise. I don't even think it's merchandise. I think they're the actual belts in story. Like, you see belts, you see figurines. The figurines, I'm pretty sure, are toys. But he has his whole collection, like, in his office or gym. I think it's his gym. George asks Daiji why he wants to use the belt from the last episode, and Daiji responds that he just wants to protect people on his own without relying on Ikki. George, seemingly taking interest in this, George tells Daiji that he needs to update himself first. Which I don't know if this means like he needs to like implant himself, or if he needs to like strengthen his resolve. But back at the the concert where Miharu is performing, Iki joins Sakura and says that she needs to have a bodyguard after the kidnapping. But Sakura says, like, it's only because Ayaka's there and she's his first love, which makes Iki brush it off and say they're just good friends, which you can't fool me. You a bad liar, Iki. Anyway, Sakura asks what was in the basket that Iki brought with them. And he shows it off, saying it's a bento he made with quote-unquote love. This interests Vice and asks what love is, annoying Iki in the process, saying that he has no love for Vice. During the concert, Sakura finds Ayaka walking towards her mom, confronting her about why she didn't answer the call from the last episode. Now, last episode she was basically kidnapped and called her mom for ransom, and she hung up. Her mom saying that she didn't think the call would be that important, and justifies herself saying that Ayaka doesn't answer her phone either, which that is bullshit. Like, regardless, you would pick up the phone, because why is my daughter calling me? After the performance, the mom embraces Miharu and walks off, with Ayaka pulling to her mom saying, "Hey, look at me too, don't ignore me." Causing a scene which basically forces Ayaka to use the gorilla stamp and creating her dead man. And this whole thing is happening with Aguilera watching. Now, I gotta say, Aguilera's casual trip is about a, chef's kiss. I made it through one episode without simping on her. I can do it this time. But anyway, the mom calls Ayaka's dead man a monster. And Ayaka thinks that it was directed at her, or, once again, the mom is ignoring her. Daiji and his Phoenix soldiers arrive, and Iki comes in transforming into his mammoth form with Vice, and battles the dead man. Now, while watching the fight, Aguilera comes up and tells Ayaka that she can make a contract with her dead man to fuse with it, becoming one of Gifu's quote-unquote children. Ayaka agrees, and she walks up to her dead man and basically fuses with her dead man, becoming a demon. Now, this demon looks fucking badass. Like, very demon-like, I must say. Very, very, I don't want to say scary. But she defeats Vice and Iki, and Aguilera taunts that there's no turning back from a demon, which pisses off Iki. And when Iki kidnaps her sister, leaving the mom to cry for Miharu, which is like, dude, this is your fault. Like, holy crap. Daiji pushes Iki to a wall outside, asking him if the bathhouse is more important now, and lectures him not to be so happy-go-lucky, calling him nosy. Iki retaliates by telling him to transform and fight, and then comments that he's not the reason Daiji can't transform, which pisses off Daiji, and he walks away, with Vice commenting that Daiji could use some love too. In the hospital, Iki discusses with his mom about Daiji. Iki saying that he's always on edge, that he can't act when it counts. But his mom tells him that he's just trying to figure out what works for him in his own way, and that Iki needs to be more empathetic. Which, yeah, I agree. Like, Iki doesn't know what Daiji's going through. He just lost the Revice driver to his older brother. As Iki leaves, he finds his a new stamp in his bike basket, realizing it was from Daiji as a way of making up. With Daiji now in his mom's room telling him that he has to tell Iki himself next time. In the bathhouse, Iki's like staring at a picture that was taken with him and Daiji when Daiji was accepted into Phoenix, telling to Vice that he's right, he needed to give Daiji more love, that he didn't put any love into it. The next day, Ayaka is holding Miharu hostage on top of a building with Phoenix in a standoff with her. Iki arrives with Ayaka's mom in an attempt to break her free from her demon. Now, Ayaka and her mom make up, which temporarily brings Ayaka to her senses. But soon after, she cries tears of blood, which looks freaky as hell, and then loses control, causing the ground around Miharu to crumble and have her fall. Iki jumps in to save her and transforms with his new stamp into his Patera form, which is actually based on Kamen Rider Fies. I have a personal bias. I actually like Fies, but I think this form is more in reference to Fies' Axel form, with the shoulder like wings expanding like he would when he transforms into Axel. Anyway, he uses that to catch Miharu and fly back up using Vice's Patera form, which is a big hovercraft. After landing safely and returning Miharu to her mom, Iki and Daiji make up, and Iki agrees on being Kamen Rider Revice. Now this is nice. They finally make up. I thought this was going to be a real conflict without the whole series or the whole season. In a flashback, George tells Daiji that in order to separate Aka from her demon, Iki needs to do a rider kick. I'm assuming Iki tells him, and Iki flies off in chase of Ayaka. Now, during their fight throughout the city, Vice is shooting Ayaka, Ayaka is throwing cars, Iki's transforming into Rex to avoid whatever she's throwing at him and transforming back into Patera, and just continues to chase at her. I like how the action keeps moving. Like, there's no stop when it comes to this. Like, they're moving from place to place, fighting, shooting each other with different things. Vice shooting like his bullets, while Ayaka is throwing cars and debris at him. But the fight ends with Iki using his Patera stamping finish to kick her to the ground, while following up with a Rex stamp finish, which when he kicks through the demon, he pushes Ayaka out with him. Now I love that shot, the zoom in shot. That I think is a nice touch. With Vice coming in, destroying the demon, doing his very signature 3-2-1 big explosion. At the end of the day, Iki signs the contract to join Phoenix and receives the Revice driver and a gun phone. Now, the gun phone, when he picks it up, shows Vice, like saying, "Hey, it's me." Iki just pushed it back, like, "No, I don't want to deal with this right now." And Daiji tries to pick it up, like, "No, don't. I don't want you to talk to him either." At the end, Iki suggests, after a long day, they should go take a bath. And while they go set up to take a bath, the Vice notices that Iki is disappeared from the picture that was with him and Daiji, with him saying, that's how it is. He knows what's going on, and laughs this maniacal laugh. Now, this episode was more straightforward than the first two, but not as straightforward as episode 3. I liked how there's just more focus on the action, the plot points, instead of the down-low moments. I hope Revice continues on with this, where it just plot after plot after plot, with little downtime. Now, downtime's good, but I really like how episodes are just going straight into it. The suits so far, honestly, one of my favorite suits so far in watching Kamen Rider, which is saying a lot. Anyway, episode 4 gives me more hope than ever for the rest of the season, and I just hope episode 5 delivers. Now, I have some opinions on the preview for episode 5. Now, if you want to see my opinions and my theories on future episodes, I probably will start doing streams about my theories about the previews of, for instance, episode 5. I won't say anything about the preview, but I have some opinions that I might discuss in a stream. If you're interested in that in any way, links are in the description below to my Twitch channel. It should be a good time. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoy this video, this overview. If you like what you see, please leave a like. If you want to keep up to date with my videos, please subscribe. And as always, any likes, comments, and shares are greatly appreciated. Have a nice day, and I'll see you all next week. Peace.